Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, now we have the welcome address by the Commander of Sri Lanka Navy, Vice Admiral Travis Sinaya. Vice Admiral Sinaya joined the Naval and Maritime Academy, Trincomalee, as an officer cadet in 1982 and graduated in 1984. Subsequently, he was selected to attend the Britannia Royal Naval College, Dartmouth, from which he graduated in 1986. Vice Admiral Sinaya was the senior-most naval officer to be in active combat operation at sea during the war. He was awarded the highest combat medal granted to a living officer for exceptional valor and gallantry, the Veera Vikrama Vibhushanaya, and recommended for the field promotion to the rank of Rear Admiral on account of his exceptional contribution to the war effort. The Admiral received his specializations in naval communication and electronic warfare at HMS Mercury, Petersfield, Portsmouth, and INS Venduti, Kochi, India. He attended the Defense Services Staff College at Wellington, India, and was conferred the Master of Science of degree in Defense and Strategic Studies. He is a Counterterrorism Fellow of the National Defense University, Washington, D.C., USA, and was selected the Distinguished Graduate at NDU for the year 2005. He also followed the Defense Cooperation course conducted by the Defense Institute of Security Assistance Management, Ohio. Vice Admiral Sinaya is a frontline executive officer who has served in all squadrons of the Sri Lanka Navy and has held various high positions at the naval headquarters. In addition to being the flag officer commanding Naval Fleet, the Commandant of Naval and Maritime Academy, Deputy Area Commander, and Area Commander. Vice Admiral Sinaya is a specialist in counterterrorism and littoral warfare. He was nominated to direct the Maldivian Defense Forces in formulating their maritime security strategies and counterterrorism doctrine, which was implemented in year 2008. Vice Admiral Sinaya has been mentioned in dispatches and personally commended by the President of Sri Lanka for acts of conspicuous bravery, exceptional gallantry, and outstanding service to the nation. May I now respectfully invite the Commander of Sri Lanka Navy, Vice Admiral Travis Sinaya, to deliver the welcome address of the conference.
Guest of honor, former President, Her Excellency Chandrika Bandanayaka Kumaratunga, Chief Guest, Honorable State Minister of Defense, Ruwan Wijewardena, Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, Ministry Secretaries, Chief of Defense Staff, Commander of the Army, Commander of the Air Force, Inspector General of Police, Chiefs of Navies from Fiji and the Philippines, flag officers, delegates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor and privilege to warmly welcome our chief guest, the State Minister of Defense, Honorable Ruwan Wijewardena, to the Galle Dialogue 2017. Sir, this is your second time with us. And we thank you as you have always shown a keen interest in the dialogue and the proceedings. We appreciate your gracious presence. On behalf of the President of Sri Lanka, His Excellency Maithripala Sirisena, the Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of Sri Lanka, the Ministry of Defense, and the Sri Lanka Navy, let me formally welcome this distinguished gathering to the Galle Dialogue Maritime Conference 2017, which is being held for the 8th consecutive year. I am delighted to note that 51 countries and 12 organizations are being represented here today, which amply demonstrates the high standing and significance this conference holds amongst the maritime fraternity. We, as the organizers of this dialogue, are proud of this achievement and will continue this symposium into the future, finding and developing solutions to meet maritime challenges. The theme of this year's conference, Greater Maritime Visibility for Enhanced Maritime Security, focuses on the challenges faced by maritime law enforcement agencies that endeavor to maintain a high degree of surveillance and enhanced maritime domain awareness. It is true that despite many advances made in maritime surveillance and intelligence gathering, the oceans are still exploited for a plethora of illegal activities, both by state and non-state actors. Many gaps and ungoverned space remain unchecked in the global commons. Managing maritime security is a challenging endeavor, and I am sure that this nautical assembly will agree that it demands cooperation and collaboration amongst global stakeholders. It is time a consensus is established on cooperation among states to share information, creating the finest real-time picture of what goes on in the oceans of the world. In today's economy, the oceans have an increased significance, requiring all countries to be able to participate in the global market. Shipping is the heart of the global economy, but it remains vulnerable. International commerce could be at risk at the key trading hubs as well as at strategic choke points. The right of vessels to travel freely in international waters, engage in innocent transit passage, and have access to ports is an essential element of international security. We need to protect the freedom of the seas and maintain a rule-based international order so that power is not misused, threats to peace and stability from friction between countries are managed through negotiation based on international law, and the threat of violent non-state actors addressed by common global action. As an island state, Sri Lanka's maritime well-being has been vital throughout the nation's history. A peaceful, tranquil, and secure Indian Ocean is essential to its prosperity. It is prudent that we continue to recognize this fact and not make the error of slipping into a state of complacency, leading to maritime blindness, meaning that we apply our total consciousness and intellect in how we deal with issues as they develop in this part of the world. We recognize a requirement in establishing a worldwide common maritime domain awareness organization, which will be an integrated information sharing grid, aiding in detecting and tackling threats emanating from the sea in real time. The aim is to generate a common operational picture of activities at sea through an institutionalized mechanism for collecting, fusing, and analyzing information from technical and other sources. To achieve persistent maritime domain awareness, we must reorientate and integrate legacy systems with current and emerging capabilities. The maritime domain presents a broad array of potential targets that fits terrorist operational objectives in achieving high shock value and catastrophic scale attack. This gathering will acknowledge that the basis for effective deterrence is awareness and knowledge of the threat, along with the capability of interdiction. Real-time awareness grants us, one, the advantage of time and space in detecting, deterring, interdicting, and defeating the adversary. These challenges to our security and economic livelihood require a new mindset, one that sees the total threat and takes all necessary actions through an active, layered defense in depth, and the initiative to have the capacity for sustained deployment to guard the seas. In conclusion, I believe that this discourse that will be articulated during the next 2 days within this August gathering will confer ways and means to augment maritime visibility through constructive deliberations that stem from a tactical level up to a strategic and policy level. We envisage expanding partnerships to take on tomorrow's problems and training to meet future roles and missions. The Galle Dialogue will review the last year's operations and developments at sea, learn lessons, and rechart our way forward. I hope that this discourse creates a climate of critical thinking, intellectual curiosity, and objective analysis, which aids in molding of new solutions to existing and predicted issues on the oceans. I repeat, the need to invest in partnerships and cooperation in order to provide the visibility we need to keep the oceans of the world safe and secure for all. As the saying goes, individually we are a drop, together we are an ocean. I take this opportunity to thank you all for your gracious presence at Galle Dialogue 2017. I wish you all fair winds and following seas.